Are you a leader looking for ways to get the most out of your team? In this short course on leadership, Paul Robinson, author of the bestseller High Performance Leadership, is going to show you how to lead with questions and get the most out of your team. You'll learn how to use questions to engage your team, understand their perspectives, and motivate them. Discover how the power of asking questions can help you become a better leader now.
Leaders lead with questions, whether it involves self-reflection, encourage learning, facilitate communication with coworkers, or to build relationship with followers, or to innovate the next thing for your business. Leaders always ask important questions, and this is one of the key things leaders must do while leading people. So instead of providing answers or directives, leaders who lead with questions seek to engage their team members in conversations that allow for exploration, reflection, and creativity. The premise of this leadership style is very simple. If you ask the right questions, it will lead to the right answers. The key to success today does not always rely in answering questions, but asking the right questions. In the age of Google, Ask.com or Quora or ChatGPT, getting answers is the easy part, but framing the right questions will remain the tough part. Since we are confined to thinking sequentially and randomly, the trigger to think through must begin with better questions. The quality of questions you ask primarily determines the quality of answers and solutions you get. The hard part is that it's not easy to ask unusual questions or smart questions. It starts by shaking off pre-existing notions, opening your eyes to all the problems and possibilities from an unbiased perspective. It requires you to open up and to reach out to all resourceful questions possible. Questioning is the very essence of thinking differently, especially when you ask questions very different from the norm. Nobel Prize winner Naguib Mahfouz once said, "You can tell whether a man is clever by his answers, but you can tell whether a man is wise by his questions." That's something leaders do. They ask the right questions, questions that are critical, questions that can lead to a new field of inquiry, and questions that can help you form your strategies better, and so on.
In an interview with Time magazine in 2006, Google's CEO, Eric Schmidt, talked about the importance of questioning at Google and how it led to new ideas and products. He said, "We run the company by questions, not by answers. So in the strategy process, we've so far formulated 30 questions that we have to answer."
No wonder Google became a company synonym for many innovations, because their leaders knew how to lead with questions. So in times of change, volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity, or in the time of VUCA to be short, it's highly critical that leaders must keep on asking the right questions to lead their organizations to the next level. Remember, during March in the year 2020, the world was in the grip of COVID-19. There was a global shutdown, one of its kind that history has never witnessed before. So if you recall, the business world was adversely impacted across the world. There was huge scale of layoffs and mammoth pullback in investments. The worldwide media was searching for answers for these uncertainties that COVID brought about. During that time, Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft, was asked by reporters how he was dealing with this kind of crisis. He pondered for a moment and replied, "I am not concerned about the large-scale layoff or the massive pullback in investments. I am focused on how to capture the new demand that is created by millions and millions of people going to work from home." By framing the right questions, Satya Nadella directed his team's attentions to searching for the right answer, which opened up to the opportunities for the company to devise new products and services for remote work. You see, right questions can differentiate your answers whether to seek opportunity in adversities or to feel overwhelmed by any kind of change. So framing right questions can open up new avenues for growth and opportunities. It's very important how you ask the right questions. It's always the seeker who is likely to find the answers. And to be a seeker is to ask the right questions. And the essence of questioning is more like the childlike curiosity to ask uncommon questions, even if they seem stupid or obvious. The quality of questions will also determine that you won't be easily satisfied with the answers until you get the right answer. So when you have that kind of a childlike curiosity, the leaders can become explorers, and leaders can clearly become innovators and creative thinkers. You see, as a leader, you don't need to have all the answers. You must learn to ask the right questions. Leaders who lead with questions are those who prioritize curiosity, humility, and learning. They understand that they don't have all the answers, but the collective knowledge and experience of their team can help them drive better decision making and outcomes. Great leaders begin with questions, and they are the last one to speak while summing up the answers. So, how to lead with questions? One way that leaders can lead with questions is by clearly seeking out the opinions and perspectives of their team members. Rather than simply providing directions or solutions, they ask open-ended questions and encourage discussions, debates, and exploration of different options. Then listen carefully to the answers and ask follow-up questions to clarify or deepen their understanding. Great leaders listen well. They are no more the answering machines, meaning people with all the answers, but they are the questioning machines. So that means people who can lead with questions and get answers from their followers. Smart leaders know for a fact that today's knowledge workers are capable of lots of great ideas. Leaders of successful organizations know how to harvest the ideas of their people. They lead with questions to get the answers from their followers. Imagine tapping into the unlimited stream of great ideas from the diversity of perspectives that are vested with the people coming from different backgrounds. Leaders use questions to challenge assumptions. Questions are powerful means to thinking differently. Questions challenge existing assumptions and open up new possibilities. One of the most valuable life skills a leader can acquire is the ability to ask good, thought-provoking, and challenging questions. Therefore, come up with questions that can challenge existing assumptions and presumptions. Frame questions that challenge industry rules and norms. Challenge experts' opinions about what is possible for your business. Frame questions that give an understanding of the pain points of customers. Start framing questions with what if? What if we do this? What if we take on this new challenge? What if we this kind of a scenario happens? Bottom line, what if questions can lead to different possibilities. So start with what if. If you want to cut through the noise, clutter, and distractions of life and gain greater clarity regarding what is really happening, then ask challenging questions. There's a Socratic method to questioning, more like thinking in first principles. This is a disciplined questioning process used to establish truths, reveal underlying assumptions, and separate knowledge from ignorance. Socratic questioning method generally follows this 6-step process. It starts with process number 1, clarifying your thinking and explaining the origins of your idea. What do I think this? What exactly do I think? 2, challenge assumptions. Questions like, how do I know this is true? What if I thought the opposite? Question number 3, looking for evidence. Questions like, how can I back this up? What are the sources to establish this fact? Question number 4, considering alternative perspectives. Questions like, what might others think? How do I know I am correct? Question number 5, examining consequences and implications. Questions like, what if I'm wrong? What are the consequences if I am? And finally, question number 6, questioning the original questions. Questions like, why do I think that? Was I correct? What conclusions can I draw from this reasoning process? Remember, if you ask better questions, you get better answers. Questions make you smarter. Whether you want to admit or not, we know everything. When you ask a question, you have the opportunity to get smarter faster. If you ask someone about a project or an idea or a conference, a book or a relationship, the answer they provide shortens the amount of time required for you to acquire that same information through personal experience. A softer analogy may be appropriate here. When you ask questions and actually listen to the response, you are essentially adding a new line of code to your programming. So stay curious and ask smart questions and learn from others' perspectives, because every question can unravel new or additional information to you. Regardless of how much knowledge, information, and experience you have with a topic or a subject, a few well-placed and thoughtful questions will reveal more information. You get to see a larger picture because you have tapped into the minds of many to arrive at a more accurate conclusions. So make it a point to ask better questions and get smarter at work and in life. Questions shape your strategy. In the world of business, leaders shape the best strategies out of questions. So if you're a leader leading an organization or running a business, this is very useful for you. There are 6 important questions that should be asked in defining your organization strategy. Question number 1, what business are we really in? Well, the answer can be different from what you already know. What business are you really in? Here the answer need not be pretty obvious, but surely something that will help you to rethink on your business. For example, when Southwest asked this question, the answer was Southwest Airline is in customer service more than in the air travel business. Theodore Levitt, the legendary professor at Harvard Business School, he said that knowing what business you are in, it's important for the success of the business. He gave an analogy of a drill maker to further clarify his point. For example, a drill maker will tell you he makes drilling machines, but people don't want to buy a 1/4-inch drill. They want a 1/4-inch hole. Therefore, they are in the business of delivering a 1/4-inch hole. Now, ask the question again. What business are you in? It's time to reframe and ask the right questions. Brands like Rolex, Omega, Patek Philippe, and Baume & Mercier, they're not in the watch business, they are in the luxury business. That's the difference. There's a famous quote from Revlon. We don't sell cosmetics to women, we sell hope. The best courier companies are in the business of giving peace of mind to their customers. So when you ask this question, you will learn to really position your brand or to clearly understand what your business stands for. Question number 2, who are our preferred customers? When you ask this question, you will know who your ideal customers are. You will realize that all customers are not created equal. You'll find them cream, your ideal customers for whom you should be sweating for. Question number 3, what is our special magic or that special secret sauce that makes us attractive to customers? Your special magic is what makes your business unique and attractive to your customers. Your special magic is your competitive advantage or that unfair advantage. Companies that believe that they have that special magic will decline to engage in commodity marketing. The special magic or the secret sauce separates you from your competition. Those who keep that secret sauce will have admirers and customers who will keep coming back to them. So ask yourself, what makes your business so special? What's your secret sauce? What's your magic? Question number 4, what do our customers think of us? How do you want to be perceived and understood by your target market? This is about marketing and branding that will help you to tell better stories that will resonate with your customers. Question number 5, what can disrupt our business and how we will survive and thrive in times of change? This is your winning edge that needs to be defined and redefined from time to time to stay on top of any situation and to stay relevant in these changing times. Also, this question will help you to discover new opportunities for business growth and expansion. Question number 6, what is our culture? Now, this will determine the mood of the organization. And culture enforces and reinforces the strategy. And therefore, in most cases, culture is, or it should be, your number one strategy. Because ultimately, culture will execute things. It's a way of doing things around here, habitually, of course, and differently. As a leader, you must ask the right question to understand whether your team is aligned with your vision or not. So these are the 6 important questions leaders must ask continuously. It has a very strong strategic framework, and answers can lead to a value differentiation, can lead to innovation, reinvention, business model redesign, and many more. These are important strategic questions leaders must ask. Questions spark innovation. When you ask stimulating or creative questions, it can lead to breakthroughs and innovative solutions. There's a long tradition of using questions in the midst of creative sessions to free our minds and stimulate ideas. So when you ask what if, it shows multiple possibilities for you. When you ask what's next, it makes you think futuristically. When you ask why not, it leads to possible answers you would have never thought possible. So when you ask paradigm-busting questions, bold questions, and most challenging questions, you will seek answers that lead to creative breakthroughs and innovation. This is a fact. Lead innovations with your questions. The best way to trigger creative and innovative discussions is to lead with questions. Formulate a big question that you want to be answered to lead, and then probe deep and wide until you get the answer to that questions. For example, the design team from Apple Computers pondered over a big question to find a product that will fall between a laptop and a smartphone, something that is highly portable and very effective for surfing the web or reading ebooks, sending emails, playing games, and so on. As a result, iPad was born.
According to Hal Gregerson, an INSAAD professor and co-author of an 8-year-long study into disruptive innovation involving some 3,500 executives, there are 5 discovery skills you need, and questioning was one among them. Thinking differently starts with a question, often one that could be considered provocative, naive, or maybe even a little crazy to other people. Thinking differently is driven by questions that are original, bold, counterintuitive, and perceptive.
In his book, he, along with his co-authors, gave an example of A.G. Lafley, the CEO of Procter & Gamble, who helped change the game at the organization by asking a lot of relevant questions. Now, some questions that Lafley began with the conversations included: who is your target consumer here? What does she want? What do you know about her? What kind of an experience does she really want? What does she think what is missing today? His questioning about the consumers were to gather information more psychographically rather than demographically. It's important to note that this kind of questions exploring the minds of consumers can lead to many innovations and many market expansion strategies for companies like P&G. Ultimately, leaders who lead with questions are those who prioritize learning, collaboration, and growth. Yet they use their questions to encourage discussions, challenge assumptions, and set a tone for a culture of curiosity and ongoing development. Leaders who lead with questions understand that the role of a leader is not to have all the answers, but to facilitate the discovery of solutions and insights by their team members. They ask open-ended questions that encourage the team members to think critically and share their ideas, perspectives, and experiences. This approach can be particularly effective in situations where the leader may not have all the information or expertise, or when working with a diverse group of people from diverse backgrounds and perspectives. By asking questions and actively listening to the responses, leaders can gain a better understanding of their team's needs, strengths, and challenges, and identify opportunities for growth and improvement. Overall, lead with questions is a collaborative and inclusive approach to leadership that can foster a culture of innovation, learning, and continuous improvement. What does this mean to your leadership development? Learn to frame the right questions to your team. Learn to present the problem as a challenge. People are motivated to take on challenges. So ask questions that lead to possibilities. Frame questions with, what if? What if we do that? What if we consider that? And challenge assumptions, question assumptions. Be a listener and let your followers participate in providing all these answers. Inform people that they can also change their answers at any point. Be flexible and lead with questions. Don't be that know-it-all person. Be that curious one with all the questions, the right questions, and lead with questions.